Tip number 3, experiment with the various overlays that you can add to your presentation. So you can add different text on top of your slides or your images, you can add various stickers, you can add other images, you can add other videos. So experiment with some of these, play around with them, and see what you can do to spruce up your presentation a bit. To do this, just go to the Add button here, and you can add as overlays text, you can add stickers, you can add a video or photo or a GIF. And this just means that instead of adding images or videos as another slide in the course of this presentation, it will actually overlay those things on top of the slides. So let me add some text and show you what I mean. And choose what I want it to say. I can choose how I want it to appear. I'll drag and drop it where I want it to be on the slide. And I can also change the style. I think I quite like that one, so I'll keep that the way it is. I'll drag and drop it over here, and maybe I want it to come in with a certain motion. I want it to have an animation like you would in PowerPoint. So this is still selected. I'm going to choose motion. And I'm going to choose this setting right here. Now, as you will notice, since I've added something as an overlay on top of my presentation, a little number 1 has appeared here in the overlays section. If I click on this, it opens it up almost like a video editor, and it shows me each of my individual overlays. It tells me where they start and where they end. And I can move this around. So this overlay that I've added here with this text, it will just appear on the first slide, and then it goes away for the second slide. Now I could move that if I want to, so I'll put my marker here over at the beginning of the second slide, and I'll move my overlay over to the second slide, and maybe I'll adjust it so it's slightly shorter. So now this particular overlay won't appear until the second slide, after which it will disappear before the third slide comes up. So each time I add some new text, new overlaid images or videos, they will appear on this part of the menu here where I can adjust them and place them where I need them to be. There are lots of things that you can do with overlays, and I highly recommend you play around with it. I could add a sticker, for instance. Might drag that and drop that here. And as you can see, the sticker has now appeared as another element on my overlay bar. I might decide I want to make that really long and make it appear for the duration of my entire presentation, which means that after it enters right here, it's going to stay there all the way until the end. And finally, tip number 4, make sure you add some audio overlays, which is on a separate tab. Whether this is a vocal narration overlay that you want to place on your presentation, or whether it's music that you want to add to your presentation, adding those effects just makes it a little bit more professional and high caliber. So if I click on audio, and now it has taken me into the audio overlay section. So as soon as I start adding different audio elements to my presentation, they will show up here on this video editor, just like they did in the other overlay section. I can choose to add audio by recording a voiceover directly into the system here, or I can add audio by importing it from my computer, or indeed adding background music that Animotica has available here free to use. Now I'm going to start with adding some narration to this, and you can, as I said, record it directly into the browser with this record voiceover here. I actually prefer to import my audio after recording it elsewhere first. I find that the voiceover feature here in Animotica isn't quite as good as what I can get by recording on my phone. But for the purposes of this demonstration, let me show you what you can do. So let's say I want my voiceover to start right here, just as I'm coming into the second slide. I click voiceover, it'll give me a countdown, and then as it starts recording, you can see the line is moving down here. So it's recording my narration as I'm going. And you can see that it's recording through the second slide, the third slide, the fourth slide, and it's about to come to the fifth slide. And let me click stop. Now that's going to process. Now recall earlier I mentioned the importance of the duration of each of the slides. Right now they're set to appear for 4 seconds each, which is why my narration covers so many different slides. Now let's say I want slide number 2 to be displaying for the entirety of this particular narration. Now I recommend to do this, click on the narration, select trim, and make note of the duration. So I see this is 13 seconds long, and I'll go back. So if this is 13 seconds long, that means I want slide number 2 to be displaying for at least 13 seconds. So let me change that. I'll go back, I'll select slide number 2, click duration, and I could change it to 13 seconds. I like to have a little bit of a buffer between slides, so I'm actually going to change it to 15. Make sure that says 15, and it does, and go back. Go back again, and I'll return to my audio overlay. And as you can see, it has changed the length of the time spent on slide number 2 so that this narration will appear just while slide number 2 is displayed. And then as it starts recording, you can see the line is moving down here, just like that. Now, if I want to add another recording for the next slide, I can just bring the marker here, select voiceover, it'll give me the countdown again, and then it will start recording another narration or another audio element that will be added to my overlay, as you can see there. So I'll stop that, let it process. So you see that's on a separate line right there. And just like with other elements, I can move that around as I see fit. If I decide I want it to actually start after the slide has fully displayed, right there. And I've decided that I don't want it to be displaying these slides right here. I want this narration to just be focusing here on slide number 3. So again, I'll click on the slide, select trim, make note that it's 7 seconds long, go back, back again, click on that third slide, and I'm going to change the duration to at least 7 seconds. I'm going to do 9, so it's just a bit longer with a buffer. Go back, back again, and back into my audio overlays. And now you can see that that's set just to be going on while you're looking at slide number 3. And then it will start recording another. So that's how you add narration. Now you could theoretically, if you wanted to, just start at the beginning here and click voiceover and then record all the way through the entire presentation. I don't like to do that because I want a little bit more freedom to adjust my slides to make sure that what I'm saying reflects what is being shown on the screen. And so I would actually recommend that you record them in little chunks. Also, this means if you make any mistakes, you don't have to start over and record the entire piece. You can just re-record that little segment that you are working on. Now, besides adding narration, you can also add background music, as I mentioned. So if I go to Add Audio, you can see here a small section of music that you can add, which is royalty-free, that Animotica provides. So I might choose to have some of this as background music. And I kind of like that one, so I'll select Add. And as you can see, that's shown up as another element on my presentation. Now, if this did not cover the duration of my presentation, I could click on it and select Duplicate, and it will show up on another line here, and then I could adjust that to ensure that it covers the entirety of my presentation. But this seems to cover the entire duration, so I'm not going to worry about that. Now, as it stands at the moment, my 2 narrations and my music are all at 80%, which is probably not going to work. And then as it starts recording, you can see... Yeah, I can barely hear myself speaking. And so what I'm going to do is select the volume button right here, and I'm going to move that down maybe to 12% so that the background music is still audible, but not quite as noisy. I think I want to also have it fade in a bit and fade out at the end of the presentation. Let's see what that sounds like. And as it starts recording, you can see that's much better. So that's how you would play with audio overlays. Each time you add something, it will show up as a new bar here, which just like the other overlays I showed you regarding text and stickers, you can move it around, you can change the size, and make it fit your purposes. Now, just as an example of what the final product might look like, here's a presentation I worked on earlier. So as you can see, it's 4 slides long. The full duration is 2 minutes and 20 seconds. I've added various transitions in between the slides. And if I click on audio here, you can see I have 6 audio overlays. I have some music, which is set at 19%, which I've then duplicated because it wasn't long enough to fill up my entire presentation. And I have some narration, which starts here at slide 2, some for slide 3, and some for slide 4. And here's what it sounds like. On Thursday, the 5th of October, 1815, at Romney Street Baptist Church, Henry Pace, the new minister, was leading a special service during which he called upon the members to signify. So I quite like the way that sounds, and I think I might export it as a video. So I go to these little 3 lines up here, and I can save my project, which I highly recommend you do. That will actually save the project in Animotica, so you can come back and edit it further. And I can also export the video. So selecting this, I can then choose which resolution I want, and I'll choose 1080, which is good for YouTube. I can choose the video quality, some more advanced settings, click save, and then it will start rendering. And this will save directly to my computer. From there, I can then upload it to YouTube or whichever platform I'd like to use. So that's the end of my overview on how to use Animotica. If you want to see the example video that I showed you at the end in full, it is available on YouTube. Just click the link attached to this video here. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please subscribe to my channel and do check out some of the other videos on how to creatively use technology to engage others with your research. Thank you.